What seems to have been lost in the corporate makeover of David Beckham is his deeds on the football pitch. He was one of England's finest players, a footballer whose free kicks were an act of beauty, with his contribution to both club and country coming right from the top shelf. Andrea Pirlo was unique, and it's why Italy never let him go for so long. A football genius adored by an entire nation. Dutchman Arjen Robben and German Philipp Lahm are heroes of their respective countries and superstars of Bayern Munich. This is the Immortals.
All right, say it with me. All right. 1, 2, 3. Beckham, Beckham, Beckham.
He's the most recognizable sports star on the planet, even in retirement. But peel away all the glitz and the glam, and you'll find one of England's greatest footballers of the modern era. Somewhere along the way, David Beckham transformed from a player into a brand, a multi-million-dollar earning corporation, the trailblazer to a new age of player visibility and endorsement opportunities. But Beckham was much more than that. Yet his undeniable talent and trophy-laden career seemed to play second fiddle to his next fashion line. It became too easy for people to forget the great player he was. His love-hate relationship with England fans is a classic Beckham soap opera. The hate came when he was blamed for England's elimination from the 1998 World Cup. Beckham was sent off against Argentina in the round of 16 match when he struck out with his leg at Diego Simeone, who just fouled him heavily. The contact was minimal, the reaction over the top by the Argentine. But the damage was done to Beckham's legacy as far as his country's fans were concerned.
And obviously throughout my career, I had a few difficult times. One was obviously the sending off in the World Cup, which at the time I didn't realise how big it was and how much, kind of hard work that I would go through over the next few years. And obviously it was very difficult for myself, but I look back at that situation now and I think I'm glad it happened in a way. You know, obviously, I wish it hadn't have happened, but it happened and I realised why it happened now. You know, it happened to make me a stronger person, a stronger player, a better person.
It was a long 3 years before the Manchester United midfielder won back the love of his country. Beckham was now captain, and he went from villain to national hero in the final World Cup qualifying game against Greece in 2001. The equation was simple. England needed to win or draw to automatically qualify for the World Cup. With 2 minutes remaining, things looked grim. Greece led 2-1, but there was one last flicker of hope at Old Trafford when the home team won a free kick 8 yards from the penalty box. Beckham was renowned as one of the best in the world from set pieces. As he positioned himself over the ball, commentator Martin Tyler summed up the drama perfectly. For players like David Beckham, you do feel there are certain moments of destiny. Beckham shaped the ball over the Greek wall and into the top right-hand corner of the net. It was the greatest goal of his career and one of the best in England's history. The three Lions were knocked out of the quarter-finals of the World Cup, and Beckham again led them to the 2006 tournament in Germany. He scored from a free kick in the round of 16 match against Ecuador, making him the first Englishman to score in 3 World Cups. Another quarter-final exit saw Beckham step down as captain, but he continued on for another 3 years in the national team, before retiring after 115 games, which at the time moved him to second on the all-time list behind Peter Shilton.
I think playing for England is always a huge honour. For me personally as captain, you know, I think there's enormous amount of proudness when you step out and when you're wearing the England shirt, but the 3 lions on the badge is something that people look at straight away and think it's all about England and the pride and you know, the passion of playing for your country, and that is so important about the England shirt and you know, the way people think about our country.
Still to come on the Immortals, how the Posh and Beck Show changed the world. The son of a hairdresser and kitchen fitter, David Beckham grew up in Leytonstone, part of a Manchester United mad family. His parents travelled up from London for every home game, and their only son was a mascot for the Red Devils in a match against West Ham in 1986. 5 years later, at the age of 16, Beckham signed on as a trainee with Manchester United. He made his first team debut in a League Cup match in 1992 and was part of Fergie's fledglings, a group of promising young players manager Sir Alex Ferguson nurtured rather than bring in big-name signings. The move brought a lot of heat on the manager, but he was rewarded for his patience in the 1995-96 season, when Beckham, along with the likes of Ryan Giggs, Gary and Phil Neville, Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes, led United to the Premier League title and FA Cup. Beckham's breakout moment came in 1996, when in the opening game of the Premier League season against Wimbledon, he scored from halfway after noticing the keeper was a long way off his line. It changed my life. He became a household name, and soon the legend grew. Beckham was voted the Young Player of the Year by his peers at the end of that season, as United won another title. He also began dating Victoria Adams, a member of the biggest girl band in the world, the Spice Girls, who was better known as Posh Spice. This elevated Beckham into a whole different world of celebrity, which quickly snowballed into a phenomenon. On the pitch, he was also riding a wave. As United continued to win trophies, with Beckham runner-up in the Ballon d'Or and FIFA Player of the Year in 1999. But his relationship with Ferguson had started to show cracks and had reached breaking point in 2003. Beckham required stitches for a cut to his eye, which was caused by Ferguson flinging a boot at him following an argument after an FA Cup loss to Arsenal. Within 4 months, his 394-game career at Manchester United was over, and he was joining a star-studded cast at Real Madrid. Beckham left Old Trafford, having won 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, and a Champions League trophy, which was part of the fabled treble in 1999. Beckham scored 3 minutes into his La Liga debut, but the success everyone thought would happen in Spain didn't come until his final season in 2007. When Real Madrid clinched the title. By that stage, he'd already decided his next move to the LA Galaxy, joining the Hollywood glitterati.
Potentially in the States, soccer could be as big as it is everywhere else around the world. And I believe, and I'm very proud to be part of that and going to be part of that for the next 5 years and maybe a few more years later. So,
His debut for the Galaxy in 2007 gave an insight into the icon Beckham had become, as the game was turned into a Hollywood event, with movie stars including Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes, Eva Longoria, and Drew Carey in the crowd.
Beckham playing it in, bending it back, cornered! And a goal for Becks, 2-1. What a goal.
Yet beyond the hype, he delivered the MLS much-needed credibility. And today, American soccer, as they call it, is no longer an international backwater, but rather a legitimate competition that has been home to World Cup stars like Spain's David Villa, former England captain Steven Gerrard, and Brazil's 2007 World Player of the Year, Kaká.
Kaká shot and a goal!
After 5 seasons in LA, a couple of loan stints with Milan, and then one final year at Paris Saint-Germain in 2013, Beckham announced his retirement. He finished the most recognizable sports star on the planet, even though his deeds were often forgotten. They shouldn't be. He won everywhere he played, including 3 titles in his final 3 seasons, 2 with LA and then PSG, to become the first Englishman to win league titles in 4 different countries. Beckham was an exceptional player, and on the biggest stage, at pivotal moments, he often delivered. David Beckham is Britain's finest striker of a football, not because of God-given talent, but because he practices with a relentless application.
He's set and ready to go.
His career wasn't defined by goals and assists. It was his ability to make his teammates better, which made him one of the greatest players of his era. An immortal of world football in more ways than one. David Beckham's brand and wealth has actually grown since he hung up his boots, with an estimated net worth of £280 million. The former England captain turned his hand to fashion, endorsing food and beverage brands, television, and a variety of other lucrative endeavors. Beckham is also passionate about his charity work, particularly his role as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador.
It means that I can put all the hard work that I've done as a football player for 22 years. You know, at the time, I've played for some of the biggest teams, played with some of the best players, and been successful. And it's not until you become something like an ambassador for UNICEF that you realize how powerful the sport is and how powerful your voice can become.
His latest venture involves his first love, setting up a soccer franchise based out of Miami. Up next on the Immortals, the Italian who defied change to continue ruling the world. Birth certificates mean nothing when it comes to Andrea Pirlo and Arjen Robben, 2 of the world's best who got better with age. He was the last pure artist in an era of athletes. Andrea Pirlo is regarded as Italy's best midfielder, whose uniqueness endeared him to the football world. He was simply adored in his homeland, where he played for 5 clubs over 20 years. Pirlo is a genius. Together with Baggio, I think he's the greatest talent Italian football has produced in the last 25 years. The trademark beard and flowing locks, together with his zen-like control on the football field, ensured cult status, which didn't sit right with the reserved Pirlo.
I don't know. Maybe for my way of playing and for the way I behave. But for me, nothing has changed. Football did not change me. I've always remained the person I used to be at the beginning. That is probably why people appreciate me, and I'm proud of it.
Pirlo's greatest moment came at the 2006 World Cup, where he orchestrated his country's first silverware for 24 years. He was virtually unstoppable throughout the tournament, winning 3 Man of the Match awards, including the final. Pirlo scored Italy's opening goal of the tournament against Ghana, but his wizardry was on full display in the finals. An incredible no-look pass to Fabio Grosso for the first goal of the game in extra time of the semi-final against Germany ensured the Azzurri progressed. Then in the final against France, it was a brilliant Pirlo corner kick which set up Marco Materazzi's equalizer at the 19th minute. Scores remained level with the World Cup decided on penalties. Pirlo nailed Italy's first, and they went on to win the shootout 5-3. I don't feel pressure. I don't give a toss about it. I spent the afternoon sleeping and playing the PlayStation. In the evening, I went out and won the World Cup. Pirlo was injured for the opening 2 games of Italy's World Cup defense in 2010, which ended disastrously. He was back to his brilliant best at Euro 2012, where Italy lost to Spain in the final, and the following year, he scored in his 100th appearance at the Confederations Cup.
First of all, it's really rewarding for me to have 100 caps. Not everyone achieves it. I have been lucky enough to get it, and I was also lucky to win a World Cup with Italy. And it's not over yet. I'm still here. I still have goals, including this Confederations Cup.
After a decade with Milan, Pirlo crossed over to Juventus in 2011 and erased any concerns about his age being a barrier, with the 32-year-old leading his new team to the title and named Serie A Player of the Year. With the chess master in full control, Juventus won 4 league titles in a row before their dream relationship ended in 2015 and Pirlo extended his career in New York. Pirlo was still playing for his country at the age of 36, causing havoc in the midfield, making his teammates look better and growing his status as an immortal of Italian football. It was the bizarre conundrum of Dutch football. One of its greatest ever midfielders, Arjen Robben, was getting better, while the national team was getting worse. Robben made his national team debut at 19, became captain at 31, and was 34 when Netherlands missed the 2018 World Cup. But like a fine wine, the Bayern Munich forward was getting better with age, rewarded with a new contract in 2017.
Nein, ich habe gesagt, ich versuche so lange wie möglich da weiter zu spielen auf diesem Niveau.
I already said that I want to play as long as I can on that level.
Ich glaube, wenn die Situation so ist, dass ich
Maybe next year the situation is good.
Und ich fühle mich
I'm feeling good, and I had a good year.
Ein gutes Jahr hinter mich, dann
I can imagine to again extend my contract for 1 year.
ja, nochmal verlängert wird, aber
But that's so far ahead.
So ist
Right now, I am only busy with football. And I am happy that the contract talks are finished, and we can concentrate on the second leg of the season.
Jetzt können wir uns voll konzentrieren auf Fußball.
He's played for the biggest clubs in the world, PSV, Chelsea and Real Madrid, winning titles with all of them, before calling Bayern Munich home since 2009, winning multiple Bundesliga titles and the treble in 2013. Yet his trophy success at club level was never replicated in national colors. The Orange Army hasn't been the same since Robben inspired them into the 2010 World Cup final. It was Robben's solo runs which very nearly made the Dutch world champions. At the 63rd minute of the final, he appeared alone in front of Spain's goalkeeper, Iker Casillas. Robben feinted, sent Casillas the wrong way, and then knocked the ball towards the net for what looked like a certain goal that would deliver his country the World Cup. But somehow Casillas stuck out a foot and managed to divert the ball clear. Spain then went on to get the match winner in injury time, with Robben haunted by the miss in years to come. That missed chance has become a film in my head, one that I keep playing over and over again. The best winger in the world had an opportunity for atonement in the semi-final of the 2014 World Cup. but missed a chance late with Holland then losing on penalties to Argentina. While more national team success would elude Robben, his impact during Bayern's unstoppable run in the Bundesliga didn't go unnoticed. A man of the match effort in the 2013 Champions League final win had him in the conversation about the best player in the world, alongside Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Unfortunately for the Dutch captain, his national side was going the other way, failing to qualify for the 2016 European Championships.
If I didn't want to play big tournaments anymore, I could resign from the national team right now, because it wouldn't make sense anymore. But I have still got a big goal, which is the 2018 World Cup. That's why I still play.
After Netherlands missed that World Cup, the Dutch legend retired from the national team in 2017, his legacy intact, an immortal of football. When we return, the man who led Germany to the promised land. Loyalty and brilliance go stride for stride in the extraordinary career of Philipp Lahm, Germany's World Cup winning captain. Big games define players. Philipp Lahm has participated in 3 World Cup tournaments and won selection in 3 World Cup All-Star teams. The best attacking fullback of a generation might be small in stature, but his influence on the fortunes of Bayern Munich and Germany has been considerable. He is perhaps the most intelligent player I have ever trained in my career. He is at another level. Aside from a 2-year loan stint with Stuttgart, Lahm has been a one-club player his entire career, working his way through Bayern Munich's youth academy to captain the club during its dominance of the Bundesliga.
I've been here at Bayern Munich since I was 11, so I grew up here with this team. And for me, it was never necessary to think about another club. Because now I have the opportunity to be successful with my home team. Mm-hmm. So that's great. That's great for me.
You've done well.
And Bayern is more than a football club. It's more, for me, it's more than like a family.
Lahm scored the first goal of the opening game of the 2006 World Cup in Germany. 4 years later, he was captain of the national team, which lost 1-0 to Spain in the semi-finals. But Lahm's crowning achievement was to come at the 2014 World Cup. The man known as the Magic Dwarf controlled proceedings throughout the early rounds of the tournament, and then had his fingerprints all over the 1-0 victory over Argentina in the final.
Für mich der größte Moment war der Schlusspfiff.
The biggest moment for me was the final whistle. The final whistle of the referee of the final of the World Cup. This moment I will keep in me for the rest of my life. You are 1-0 in front, in extra time in the final of the World Cup against Argentina. And then comes the final whistle. And you realize we became world champions. That is very special. It was great to celebrate with your teammates, the coaches and the staff all together. The final whistle and the 2 hours after, that was an unbelievable feeling. You go up there, you get the medal, and then you are allowed to lift up the trophy. Then you go back to the changing room. Everybody is celebrating. It was simply an unbelievable feeling. I can't describe it. As the moment I would choose the final whistle, but it carried on for about 2 hours. It was a dream, very, very nice. You only can understand it if you have been a part of it.
5 days later, at the age of 30, Lahm announced his retirement from international football after 113 games. Lahm's sustained brilliance at the highest level was recognized when named to the team of the tournament at World Cups in 2006, 2010 and 2014, as well as European Championships in 2008 and 2012. He had lifted Germany to its first World Cup trophy as a unified nation, after West Germany had won titles in 1954, 1974 and 1990. And that's why he's an immortal, a special player who holds a special place in the history of world football.